Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Difficulties mastered are opportunities won. This means that when we are able to face the challenges of each and every difficulty, we can attain victory at the end. Okay, today in this video lesson, we are going to read the literary devices, rhyming words, and rhyming scheme of this poem. Now, when you see the first stanza of the poem, the last word of the first line is sing, and the last word of the second line is spring. Can you see that? Sing, spring. These are the rhyming words. Now, why these are called as rhyming words? Because the sounds of these words are similar. Yes? Now, if you see in the third line, the word here given is home. And the fourth line, the last word is come. Home, come. Now, these two words are sounding same. So, these are rhyming words. Now, in the second stanza, if you see, the first word is found. The second line, it is ground. Found, ground. These are rhyming. Now, in the next line, we see, tree, me. All these three are rhyming to each other. Now, in the next stanza, you see bold, cold. These two are rhyming words. In the next line, it is ant, grant. These two also are rhyming. So, the words which have the same sounds are called as rhyming words. Now, let us see how we found out the rhyming scheme of this poem. To find the rhyming scheme of the stanza, we have to again see the rhyming words. Now, the first line will always be a. Okay, so one point that we have to note in rhyming scheme is that we must always use the lower case of the alphabets. That is, we must write small alphabets. We should not use capital letters here. Okay, so keep this in mind always. Now, the rhyming scheme here, the first letter, the word is sing. So, this is always A. Now, the second line, it is rhyming with the first line. So, this will again become A. Now, the third line, home. This is not rhyming with the first line. So, the second will become B. Now, the third line again is rhyming with the fourth line is rhyming with the third line. So, this will also become B. So, the rhyming scheme of this stanza is A, B, B. Now, in the second stanza, if you see, the first word is found and the second line it is ground. So, these two are again rhyming. So, again this will be A and A. Now, in the second, third and fourth line, if you see, all these three are rhyming. So, as it is rhyming, you will say it is B, B and B. Okay. So, the rhyming scheme of the second stanza is A, B, B, B. Yes, children? Do you understand? Yes. Now, in the third stanza, if you see, it is bold, cold. So, these two are rhyming. So, this is A. Now, in the third and fourth line, it is ant, grant. As this is rhyming and this is not rhyming with the first line, this will be B, B. So, the rhyming scheme of this stanza is A, B, B. So, now is that clear? What is rhyming scheme and what is rhyming words? Yes, children? Yes, very good. Now, let us see the literary devices which are there in this poem. Now, the first literary device, that is the figure of speech. Figure of speech means what's the tone in which the poet is talking about in this poem. How he is presenting his poem is called as figure of speech, or it is also called as literary device. So, now let us see what are the different literary devices used in this poem basically. So, now the first one we are going to see is personification. What is this? Personification. So, what is personification? When human characteristics are given to animals or non-living things, it is called personification. The ant and the cricket are personified as humans as they are talking and thinking like humans. So here personification means that whenever a human traits or characteristics, whenever we are taking animals as humans, assuming it, and they are talking in the poem, we make them talk in the poem, we make them figure out as if they are human beings. When we assume that they are human beings and giving them human characters, it is called as personification. Yes, children, do you understand? So here in this poem we have seen that there is an ant and there is a cricket. So now they have a conversation. The cricket is very lazy and it is singing and dancing the whole day all around, enjoying the spring. So all these qualities, when we see, it is being shown of a human. Yes, the characteristics of human are given to the cricket. And when you talk about the ant, it is very brave, and it is very think of the future and is saving. It is lot of human good qualities of a human are being given to the ant. So here these two, when we give the human characteristics, it is called as personification. Yes, it is clear now what is personification. Yes, very good. Now the next literary device we are going to see here is metaphor. What is this? Metaphor. It is the comparison of two things. In the last line, some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. The poet compares lazy and careless people with a cricket. So here metaphor means we have a comparison. When the poet is comparing two things in a poem, it is called as metaphor. So here comparison, usually when we do, we use the word like like, so as so. So some of the words are used to compare things. So if you do that, that is called as simile. So now without using the words like and so as or as so, when we are comparing and we are confirmly saying that it is being compared, this is what it is. When we confirmly say that, it is called as metaphor. So now in this poem, if you see the last 2 lines, here the poet says some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. So now the poet is comparing the human being with that of the cricket. That both are very lazy, So even the cricket is lazy and the some human beings are very lazy. So here the comparison is being done between them. So this sentence is called as metaphor. So now the next literary device we are going to see is anaphora. When there is repetition of words or phrases at the beginning of the consecutive lines, sentences, phrases, or paragraphs, this type of figure of speech is used by the poet to emphasize something. In the poem, the poet says, not a crumb, not a flower, not a leaf. So now, whenever the poem wants to emphasize something in the poem, he used this type of literary device that is called as anaphora. So what is this anaphora? Anaphora is nothing but whenever the sentence is started, the repetition of the same word will be there. So each sentence will start with the same word. So he is repeating the words in a couple of sentences or 3 or 4 sentences. So now in this poem, if you see, in this second stanza, if you see, the poet is saying, not a crumb, not a flower, not a leaf. So here he is using the word not again. So he is emphasizing something, that nothing is there. So the word nothing is being emphasized in this stanza. So when the poet is wants to emphasize something, he used this type of literary device. Yes, do you understand? Now here in this also, if you see, here in this we see the ant never borrow and we ant never lend. So we ant again has been repeated here. So this is also anaphora. Yes, so here it has been, if you don't want to use, normally if you want to say, we can say we ain't never borrow nor lend, we can just complete the sentence. But here the poet wants to emphasize the word we and he is using twice, he is repeating the word. So this type of sentence is called as anaphora. Yes children, do you understand what is anaphora? Yes, now we will move on to the last word, that is alliteration. What is this? Alliteration. I hope you all remember what is alliteration. We have done this many times in the class. When there are words with the same consonants or consonant sounds in the same line is called as alliteration. So now tell me first, what is consonants? Yes, anybody knows what is consonants? Yes, very good. Apart the words, the letters apart from the vowels. What are vowels? A, E, I, O, U. The alphabets apart from the vowels, other alphabets are called as consonants in the English alphabets. Now, if in the poem, if you have the same sounds or the same consonants, then it is called as alliteration. Now, if you see in the poem, now in the first line, if you see, we have the word called silly and we have the word called sing. Okay, now these two are starts with the same alphabet, that is S. Silly, sing. So these two are alliteration. Now in the second line, if you see, it is sunny, spring, summer. So these are again alliteration. Now we can see a little more. Now in this line we see what, will. So this is also alliteration. With, wet. This is also alliteration. Now in the next stanza, if you see, we have starvation, sorrow. Then we have, can you find out anything, any such alliterations in this poem, children? Just have a look. What can you find here? Okay, here, sang, sir, say. So these three are alliteration. Now if you come to the last stanza, if you see, we have folks and fable. So these are the rhyming, these are the words which are having the same sounds or it starts with the same consonants. So whenever a word starts with the same consonants or same consonant sound in a single line, you have to see, okay, in one line only, you should not go with two lines. So whenever it is same, it is called as alliteration. So here in this poem we have seen personification, we have seen metaphor, we have seen anaphora, and we have seen alliteration. So apart from this, we have seen how to see the rhyming words and how to make rhyming scheme of each stanza. Yes, are you very clear with all this? Yes, very good children. Thank you. Have a nice day.